Part 1. The Voice I Didn't Expect. I never planned to fall in love again, not after what happened before. My life had become quiet, not peaceful, just empty in a way that felt manageable. Work, home, sleep, repeat. No risks, no emotions I couldn't control. Until one night, I answered a call I almost ignored. The number was unknown. Normally, I never picked up. But something made me do it. "Hello?" I said. There was silence. Then, a soft voice. "I'm sorry, I think I called the wrong number." She sounded embarrassed, nervous. "You can hang up," I said. She hesitated. "Can I not?" That made me smile. "Why not?" "Because," she said quietly, "I've had a really long day, and you sound like someone who won't yell at me." I laughed before I could stop myself. "You have 1 minute." That minute turned into 20, then 40, then a goodbye that felt strangely heavy. The next evening, she called again. "This time it's not a mistake," she said. Her name was Maya. She lived in another city, 2 hours away, worked nights at a small radio station. Read messages people sent when they couldn't sleep. She heard people's pain every night, but never talked about her own. We started calling daily. No photos, no social media, just voices, and somehow it felt safer that way. She told me things people don't tell strangers, about how loneliness can be louder than crowds, about pretending to be okay so long you forget how honesty feels. I told her things I hadn't said out loud in years. We didn't flirt at first. We just existed together in the dark. One night she said, "Do you believe you can love someone you've never seen?" I answered too honestly, "I think I already do." There was silence. Then her breath changed. "That scares me," she whispered. "Me too." Weeks passed. Her voice became the best part of my day. But love built in the dark is fragile, because eventually, someone has to turn on the light. Part 2. When Feelings Become Dangerous. At first, it felt harmless. Just conversations. Just voices in the dark. But emotions don't ask permission. They grow quietly, until one day you realize your heart is no longer yours. Maya started calling earlier. Sometimes just to hear breathing on the other end. "Don't talk," she once said, "just stay." So I did. We fell asleep on the phone more times than I could count. I learned the rhythm of her silence. She learned when my voice meant I was lying about being okay. It was intimacy without touch, and somehow that made it stronger. One night, she asked something that changed everything. "If we met," she said carefully, "would you still feel the same?" I didn't hesitate. "Yes." Her voice trembled. "You don't know what I look like. I know how you think. That matters more." She didn't answer. When she finally spoke, it was quieter. "I'm afraid you'll be disappointed." "That's not possible," I said. She laughed, but not happily. "You say that now." After that night, something shifted. She became distant, calls shorter, laughs rarer. Until one evening, she didn't call at all. I stared at my phone like an idiot, refreshing nothing. The next day, she messaged, "I need to tell you something, but I don't know how." My chest tightened. "Just tell me," I typed. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, "I'm engaged." The word hit harder than I expected. Engaged. "I didn't plan this," she wrote quickly. "It was decided before you, before us." Before us. That hurt the most. "Why keep calling me then?" I asked. Her reply came slowly. "Because with you, I feel alive." I should have walked away. Any decent person would have. But love doesn't care about decency. It only asks one cruel question. What are you willing to lose? Part 3. crossing the line. After she told me, nothing felt innocent anymore. Every call carried weight. Every pause felt like guilt. We both knew we were standing too close to a line that shouldn't be crossed. Yet neither of us stepped back. "I don't talk to him about the things I talk to you about," Maya admitted one night. "That doesn't make it better," I said. "I know," she whispered. "But it makes it honest." Honest. That word ruined me. Because honesty was exactly what made this feel real. She told me about her fiancé, Daniel. A good man. Stable. Kind. Someone who loved her in a quiet, predictable way. "He wants a simple life," she said. "Kids early, a house, routine." "And you?" I asked. "I want to feel something," she replied, "even if it hurts." I closed my eyes, because I was that feeling, and I hated myself for it. One night, after her radio shift, she called crying. "He asked me why I smile at my phone," she said through tears. My heart pounded. "I didn't say your name," she added quickly, but I felt like I was betraying everyone. "You don't have to do this," I said. "We can stop." There was silence. Then, "Don't say that," she whispered. "You're the only thing that feels like mine." Those words wrapped around my heart and tightened. That was the moment we crossed the line. Not physically, but emotionally. And sometimes that's worse. A week later, she sent me a photo. Not of her face, just her hand on a train ticket. Destination, my city. "I'm not coming for you," she wrote. "I just need to know what this is, before I lose myself completely." My hands shook. Because deep down, I knew exactly what this was. And I also knew, nothing good comes from love that begins in secrecy. Part 4. The meeting that changed everything. I waited at the station for 40 minutes. Every passing train made my chest tighten. I kept asking myself the same question. What am I doing? She was engaged. This was wrong, and yet my body refused to leave her. She stepped off the train slowly, scanning faces like she was afraid of finding mine. Smaller than I imagined, more fragile, and when our eyes met, she froze. For a second, neither of us moved. Then she smiled, nervous, relieved, terrified all at once. "Maya," I said. Hearing her name out loud felt unreal. She laughed softly. "You sound the same." "So do you." That made her eyes water. We walked through the city without touching, too aware, too careful. Every step felt loud. At a small cafe near the river, we finally sat down. Up close, I noticed dark circles under her eyes. "You don't sleep much," I said. She smiled sadly. "I sleep better when I hear you." That sentence broke something inside me. Hours passed, talking, laughing, remembering things we'd already said on the phone, now somehow deeper in person. But beneath everything was tension, unspoken, dangerous. When the sun began to set, she looked at me and whispered, "I shouldn't be here." "I know," I replied. "But I'm glad you are," she said. Then she reached for my hand. Just once, just enough. Electric. She pulled away quickly. "I love him," she said. Suddenly, my heart sank. "But I'm not in love with him," she continued. "And that scares me more." I didn't answer, because anything I said would push her further. At the station before she left, she looked at me like someone standing on the edge of a cliff. "If I kiss you," she asked, "will everything break?" I swallowed. "Yes," she nodded. Then she kissed me anyway. Soft, shaking, real. And when she stepped back, tears ran freely. "I can't do this again," she whispered. "If I come back, I won't be strong enough." The train doors opened. She turned and left. That night, I couldn't sleep, because sometimes one kiss is enough to ruin every future you planned. Part 5. The choice that destroys everything. After that night, silence returned. No calls, no messages, no voice in the dark. I told myself it was for the best. that she chose stability, that she went back to her real life. But silence doesn't heal. It just waits. 2 weeks later, my phone rang at 2:14 a.m. I knew it was her before I answered. "I can't breathe," Maya said. Her voice was breaking. "He set the wedding date." I sat up immediately. "Are you safe?" I asked. "But I feel like I'm disappearing." That sentence terrified me. She told me she stood in front of the mirror that day, wearing a dress her mother loved. Everyone was excited, everyone smiling, except her. "I kept thinking," she said, "if I walk down that aisle, I'll spend my whole life wondering who I could have been." My throat tightened. "What do you want, Maya?" I asked. She cried harder. "I want you," she said. Those words should have made me happy. They didn't. They scared me. Because wanting someone doesn't mean the world will forgive you for it. "I can't ask you to leave him," I said. "I'm not asking," she replied. "I already decided." My heart stopped. "I'm calling the wedding off." The room went silent. "Maya, are you sure?" "But I'm sure I'll regret it if I don't." The next day, she did it. One conversation, one broken future, one family devastated. Daniel didn't scream. He just asked one question. "Was there someone else?" She didn't answer. That was answer enough. When she told me everything, I felt sick. Not because I didn't love her, because love had just destroyed something real. She came to my city 3 days later. This time, she didn't leave. She stood in my doorway with a bag in her hand and red eyes. "I chose you," she said. I hugged her, and felt fear instead of relief, because choices made in pain rarely bring peace. Living together didn't feel like a movie ending. There was no music, no celebration, just two people trying to breathe after a storm. Suitcase, and a heart full of guilt. At night, she sometimes woke up crying. "I ruined everything," she whispered. I held her and said nothing, because part of me feared she was right. People judged her, some openly, some silently. Her family barely spoke to her. Old friends stopped calling. Love gained, world lost. That's the price no one talks about. At first, we tried to be happy, cooking together, watching shows, laughing at small things. But happiness built on broken ground shakes easily. Sometimes she would stare at her phone for too long. Sometimes I would wonder if she missed him. We never said it. That silence became our third roommate. One evening she asked, "Do you think I'm a bad person?" I looked at her. "No," I said. "I think you were honest." She shook her head. Honesty still hurt people. She was right. Love doesn't erase consequences. Months passed. We loved each other deeply. But love alone couldn't fix guilt, or shame, or the feeling that happiness was stolen, not earned. She tried therapy. I tried patience. But something inside her kept breaking quietly. One night, she said, "If I stayed with him, I would have been unhappy." She paused. "But now, I'm afraid I'll never forgive myself for leaving." Those words scared me more than anger ever could. Because love can survive pain, but it struggles against self-hatred. Part 7. The goodbye neither of us expected. It happened on an ordinary morning. No argument, no shouting, no warning. Maya was sitting at the kitchen table, staring at her coffee like it held answers. "Don't think I can stay," she said. My heart dropped. "Why?" I asked quietly. She didn't look at me. "Because every time I'm happy with you, I remember someone crying because of me." I sat down slowly. "We can work through this." She shook her head. "You can't heal guilt you didn't cause." That sentence felt final. "I love you," she said quickly. "That's the problem." "If you love me, don't leave," I said. Tears filled her eyes. If I stay, she whispered, I'll destroy us both. She packed slowly, carefully, like someone afraid of making noise in a life they were about to exit. At the door, she stopped. You didn't steal me, she said. I chose you. Please remember that. I nodded. She leaned forward and kissed my cheek. Soft, grateful, broken. Then she left. No drama, just absence. Days passed. Then weeks. She didn't block me. She didn't reach out. She simply disappeared. Not from the world, from me. Love after betrayal is complicated. Love after choice is worse, because there's no one to blame. Final part, the love that couldn't stay. Time did what it always does. It moved forward without asking. I learned to live with her absence the way people learn to live with old injuries. Carefully, unconsciously, forever aware of where it still hurts. Sometimes I imagined her life. If she found peace, if she forgave herself, if she ever thought of me without pain. I never tried to find out. Some answers are too heavy to carry. 1 year later, I received a letter. Real paper. No return address. Just my name, written in handwriting I would recognize anywhere. My hands shook. Inside was a single page. I'm not writing to come back. I'm writing so you don't wait. I loved you more honestly than I ever loved anyone. But love alone wasn't enough to quiet my conscience. That mattered. Please don't let my leaving make you smaller. Some people are chapters, not endings. Thank you for being real. I read it 3 times, then folded it carefully and placed it in a drawer I never opened again. Years later, I fell in love again. Not the same way, softer, healthier, without secrets. But sometimes, late at night, I still remembered a voice on the phone, one that once made the dark feel safe. And I understood something important. Not every love story is meant to last. Some exist to teach you how deeply you can feel, and then they leave. I never regretted loving her, even now, because loving her showed me something rare, that real love doesn't always stay, but it always changes you, forever.